back. We are finally live again, and today we're going to be designing a completely amazing project out of straight up fantasy land. This is my personal UI designer's dream. This is a really modern, really new and trendy take on your most basic Candyland. So, this is just going to take the whole abstract concept of Candyland, and then we're going to transform it into what it would look like if it were a real candy store, a real site. And we're going to be taking a look at really complicated elements of UI design as well. This is the perfect portfolio project, especially if you're just getting started. You want to get your foot in the door as a freelancer, as a UI designer who's searching for entry level positions. I feel like this is just the perfect UI design project that we're planning for today. It is a complete website in and of itself, and it is a more different take than the ones you would find in most portfolio projects. And the reason I think this is the perfect portfolio project is actually quite simple. This is something out of the ordinary. This is sort of reimagining the most basic concepts, the most basic principles of UI design, applying it to a very abstract concept or phenomenon of Candyland, and then taking that whole principle and putting it out as a candy store. This is going to be a seriously awesome UI design in and of itself. I am super proud of the way it has turned out. I will get into what it looks like in just a bit. I know the whole description part was a little bit abstract and a little bit hard to understand. But today we're going to be designing the perfect portfolio project. And I know you're tired of hearing me say this all the damn time, but this is just doing such wonders with the whole principle. Let's just get right into what we're designing today. Say hi in the chat, everybody. I'm so glad we're back. This is day 37 of the 100 Days of UI Design Challenge. Let's go. This is the complete UI design that we're going to be designing today. It is a complete candy haven, and we took the concept of Candyland and put it out as an actual project. So this is the very first hero section. I feel like this is a very neat hero section. We are using glass morphism here. We are using this really pretty much transparent navigation bar. This is really important. Again, I love the use of glass morphism and the image background. Oftentimes it's really hard to figure out what to do with image backgrounds, and glass morphism is a really good solution to that. Then we have bento grids. Obviously we do. We're using this amazing, beautiful looking candy bento grid. The color scheme here is awesome. It is literally to die for, like light yellow, navy blue, chef's kiss moment, perfect. And then we're also using a very bright shade. This is out of our constant horizon, and I feel like the whole concept of Candyland in a modern day site is such a surprise. So having a section that looks sort of like this, sort of that just draws your attention to what we're doing, is such a lively take on what we're going to be designing. This is my personal favorite section because you have this sort of 90-degree shift in mindset that goes on. Red bar at the top, red button at the bottom, blue bar at the bottom, blue text at the top, and this is just such a nice reset from what we usually used to. This is the project to add to your portfolio. This is the project to build, because it's a really abstract concept reimagined into one of the most modern UIs in the whole world. I love this. 10 out of 10, 100 out of 100, whatever you want to rate it. The next section is my personal favorite, loved by candy enthusiasts everywhere. And then we have a couple of logos. You can find all of these images, guys, completely for free in the Discord group. Link in the live chat and the description. Just go join there really quickly, and there is so much cool stuff happening. This next part is again my personal favorite. I know I have a lot of personal favorites today. This is a whole this is sort of underlying not only candy but also the process of buying candy online. So this is just taking your standard mobile mock-up, putting some candy in there, and then you end up with something that looks like this. Just very simple stuff. But I feel like this is just really nice to look at, and it's just really fulfilling in and of itself, even though there isn't a whole app design here. And lastly, we obviously have this really simple, really pretty looking footer. I love the way it has just tied itself together. The color scheme, each individual element just works so well. And I just want to go back here and count out the number of sections we're building today. This is the navigation bar 1, hero section 2, bento section 3, this bright section is 4, this sweet adventure is 5, Candy Enthusiast is 6, this is 7, and this is 8. So this is a complete actual real world site comprising of 8 different sections, and we're sort of getting all of these separators in today, getting all of these different elements in today, getting this right. Let me know what you think of this UI. Rate it out of 10 in the comments, and let's just get started. Say hi in the chat, everyone. Come on, say hi in the chat. All right. And today I'm also going to be talking about how to set yourself apart as a freelancer, as someone who's applying to a new job, how to set yourself apart when you're just starting out. And I feel like this is a really, really cool theme to look at, especially when the UI we're designing is so out of the box. So before we do anything at all, I want you to know, if you don't yet have Figma installed, stop living under that damn rock. Go to figma.com/downloads if you don't yet have Figma installed. Seriously, go to figma.com/downloads. The simplest thing you can do. Don't be an idiot like me. Don't just go to figma.com. Go to figma.com/downloads, and now you have Figma downloads, and you can just get Figma either for macOS or Windows, or for Windows ARM. I have no idea what Windows ARM is. I've never really tried it before. But anyways, just install Figma. After you've installed Figma, you're going to be greeted with a screen that looks sort of like this. And this is the entry screen for most users in Figma. And now you're just going to click on this blue button, create a new design file. By the way, if you weren't able to see these options, this is in the Recents tab. So if you're on drafts, you might have to switch over to Recents, and you can directly create a new design file. Now we have a new design file, and now we're going to get started with this really, really nice, really, really abstract UI design. So the very first thing you need to have is obviously a frame, because this is where we're going to start building our objects. Frames are really important. And again, here's something that you don't need to forget. Every single time you build out a frame, you have to be sure of what size you're working with. So for some specific styles, Figma provides actual onion skins. So when you, for example, present this UI to a customer, to a client, to a shareholder, whoever it is at this point that it's this prototype in of itself isn't just this weird random thing that you as a UI designer have built. Now, because we were very careful about the sizing, and this only happens in very, very specific pixel ratios, width and height wise, where now you have this laptop onion skin with you. This is the onion skin that always appears, and you can sort of work with this skin and have this skin be around your prototype, your UI. This is completely incredible. So this is a must have. And I'm going to get to how we make sure this always remains in our UI in just a second. So before we do anything, we need to create a frame, obviously. We're going to go down here, or you can type F on your keyboard. And now I want to talk about how to get these actual onion skins. So with these skins, the thing to remember is the width and height has to be a very, very specific number. As far as laptops or desktops are concerned, Figma only provides a couple of options of resolutions: MacBook Air, MacBook Pro 16, 14, desktop and wireframe. And only for the top 3 you easily get this screen skin with the laptop. So I feel like this is a really important distinction to make very, very soon, right off the bat. And now that we have made that distinction, let's just click on MacBook Air, and now you have this really pretty looking frame. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to get started with the first section, the navigation bar. And the thing to remember here is all of these images are available completely for free in the Discord group. Just go join the Discord group, link in the live chat. And now we're getting started with our navigation bar. So this is just really, really simple stuff. The thing to remember here is all of the corners are sort of rounded off. So just going to go right here, create a new frame. Very, very simple stuff, and you can adjust the height as you want it to be. I'm sticking with this weird number 1 2 4 3. Let's you know what, let's have some fun today. Let's change this to 1 2 3 4 just for the sake of it. I'm not being very specific and tight nosed here. I'm just going with whatever feels right. All right, the thing to remember here is we're going with a very navy blue sort of shade. There are 2 things you can do, and this is a really cool hack in Figma which comes from HTML. Sometimes when you don't want to search for actual hex codes, when you don't want to type out RGB, CSS, HSL, HSB values, just go right here and type out NAVY. and now you end up with a color automatically, which is navy blue. And there is a whole list of all of these colors, and I want to just get that out of the way really really quickly. HTML colors, and you'll find a really really nice list on W3 School's website, and you can find this list and you can use this list in Figma without typing out anything. So let's just see it for a moment. I want to talk about it in one of these live streams. So you have this automatically built out list of colors where you just type out tomato, orange, dodger blue, any of these let's do medium sea green, and this is going to be really really fun. You can just go over here and you can just, instead of typing out any hex code, you can type out a name like medium sea green and it'll automatically give you medium sea green. This is amazing. So many UI designers don't even know about it. It's one of those hidden hacks that I figured out on my own, and I was so proud of myself when I figured this out. Let's take a look at the complete list. Like I want to complete list. You have to bear with me for a second, but believe me, it's worth it. Let's just get into it. And you can build out complete color palettes just based on these lists. Where did you go? I feel like I lost the list somewhere. Now you're going to see me make a fool of myself. Alright, this is the list. W3 schools, tags, ref, color names. And I'm going to share this list in the live chat as well, because I feel like people miss it so often, and this is a really cool snippet to cut. Dark blue, this is really similar to what we're doing, and I just want to go through this list today and get our colors from here. You know what, let's do midnight blue. So midnight blue is the shade we're using. Just copy this out, and we're going to go back here, type out midnight blue, and we're going to work with midnight blue. Even though I know this is a little bit of a different shade, let's just work with midnight blue. Or why should we just stick to that color? Let's switch this color to a shade that we'd want. This looks much better now. All right, and now we're going to just add a whole border radius, round this off completely, put it completely in the center. We're going to shift this down, and now you have this really really simple looking navigation bar. Don't worry if your edges of the frame itself aren't rounded off. They will get rounded off eventually, and so you don't have to worry about that. Now I want to break down this navigation bar really really simply. This navigation bar is built in 3 different elements, and you always have to remember that. Some navigation bars have a right and left side. Some navigation bars have a right, left, center. Some navigation bars have a right and a center. So this always varies. But you need to know where your elements on a navigation bar are. So this navigation bar has 3 different sides: links, logo, and then also some social media links. So links, logo, links. So we're just going to build this out first. Let's go right here, and we're going to build out links, logo, links. Let's type out home, HOME. Great. You know what, I want to get the lighter shade of yellow that we're using here, and instead of experimenting around, because it doesn't always lead to perfect results, I'm going to just get a really light shade of yellow that works here. So let's just zoom in, see what works better. And this is a really important point to take a look at your color scheme, reconsider your color choices, because this is one of the last times we're sort of doing that. So this is 000024 pure blue tints, and now we're just going to change this to a really light shade of yellow. Check it out, this really light shade of orange looks so pretty, so gorgeous, and I love the color scheme just by itself. All right, and I want to go back to the font that I was using, but if you type out your favorite font, we'll just use that today. So that is also something we can do. All right, let's just get this right here, and I want to get all of these elements made out first. So home, sweets around the world, and our team. Let's just get these elements out here first, and if you have any font recommendations, leave them in the chat and we'll make a live site out of that. Like, why would we not? Home, sweets around the world, and you just have to copy and paste these links. Very simple stuff. I feel like fun starts to happen when you have a couple of links with yourself, and then you can play around with the whole frames and groups thing in your head. I saw a really funny tweet recently on X, and it was about whether you're a frame kind of designer or whether you're a group kind of designer. And I feel like and group based designers were actually pretty rare, which made me feel weird and special at the same time. Anyways, when you select all of these at once, just make sure to press shift and then press Control G, and that's just going to group these together. I want to go to the fonts that we're using because I feel like the fonts for this UI are pretty special as well. So the fonts that we're using for these links are Honest. This is also Honest, and this next one is my favorite, LC Swash Caps. This is a new font and I'm in love with it. Like, Figma recently introduced LC and LC Swash Caps, and I've used both of them in upcoming live streams, so this is going to be really, really fun. One of the best fonts that works with a font like both LC and LC Swash are very wide fonts, which means now the sans serif that you're going with now, when your serif is pretty wide, you also have this added responsibility of making sure your sans serif is bold as well. So now the LC is a very wide font, we have to make sure our sans serif is also wide. You cannot use a font like Inter or a font like Roboto with new fonts. You have to make sure the sans serif choice is also bold or also wide. Really, really important stuff, really, really simple stuff. And the sans serif that we're using is a wide one, which is Honest. Apurva says, I really like your content. Thank you so much. I really like you, all of you wonderful viewers who watch and make this stream possible. All right, now let's just make sure this group is equally spaced apart. Very, very simple stuff. This we're just going to add an auto layout, and this is going to make sure there is a little bit of spacing between all of these elements. Everything is perfectly aligned together. Let's give it a little bit of space, and this now is starting to look good. This looks pretty decent. If you're new here, guys, make sure to subscribe because I come here live every single day, 8 p.m. Indian Standard Time or 2:30 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time. I know we started a little bit late today. It is 9 currently, which is all right, just for a day. All right, so this is now our current left side of the story, and we also need to have a right side of the story. If it doesn't look like it's the perfect sizing, don't worry about it. A little bit of size difference won't matter as long as the color scheme and visual aesthetic is similar. So you're just going to copy this frame, copy and paste it once again, and instead of doing the logo right now, we're just figuring out the right and left side of the story. So let's and I before I get into the whole links and renaming links and basic stuff, I want to get a new thing out of my brain into your heads. You're going to press shift now, select frame 2 and also select frame 1 at the same time, and now we're going to create a frame of these frames and put them in an auto layout so that they're all equally aligned and everything is just perfectly aligned on the width and height axis, if that makes sense. Add an auto layout, select both of these frames, add an auto layout. Don't worry if it doesn't look perfect. Instead of worrying about the spacing that you have here, you're going to click on this button and this is automatically going to center everything, which means the spacing over here and the spacing over here is going to be equal, assuming that this is aligned in the center. So this is just very, very simple UI hack stuff. And now we want to talk about us, Candy World Delights, and Get in Touch. So these are the 3 links. Before you add links to the right side, it is always a good practice to make sure these links are aligned to the right as well. So if your links are aligned to the left, you're going to align your text to the left. Even if it isn't very visible, even if it is set to auto width, it's always a better idea to align it in the direction where it is placed. And I'll break down why that's important in just a bit. So now we have to put out about us, and when we put about us over here, it becomes really important that even if and I want to just go back to home. We had home before. If this was left aligned and if we hadn't changed the alignment, then we'd be typing it out and it would sort of spill over even if it went longer in this direction, which would become a problem because this and this were spaced equally before because we created auto layouts of auto layouts. But now this becomes a problem for us when we're typing out new stuff unless we align it towards the right. So right alignment for right aligned links is very, very important. This is such a deep principle that you only acquire through years and years of experience, and we're just trying to share every single experience related tip that comes into my head. This is why I feel like this live class is so awesome for people who are just starting out, because you get to learn so many things that I wouldn't even mention in a video. Like if I were to make a video, which we have many on this channel, it's often really easy to forget all of these really, really small tips. And I feel like with these live classes, you can actually get into my head as where I'm going with this, what little things to look out for, and it just makes you a better designer. Last one is get in touch. So we're just typing out very, very simple things, and you'll now notice that even if I put a smaller amount of text than there was before, greater amount of text, everything will still be okay. Alignment won't get really, really weird. Like, this is the kind of tip that again comes from experience. It's not the stuff you would put in an actual tutorial video. So this is why this is so important. All right, the next thing we're building out is obviously our logo. And before I get into our logo, I want to talk about how you can literally create a logo out of anything. So now I'm going to talk about the master hack with which you can create a logo out of anything in the world. And I'm going to give you guys an option. If you guys in the live chat right now, because I know a couple of you are watching really carefully, type out the name of any emoji, any animal, anything. I'll just put that as the logo. Challenge out there in the open. If you don't, then I'm just going to get a simple candy logo. So the way we're doing this is we're going to go down here to the actions section and we're going to search for Iconify. Iconify is a wonderful plugin, very, very simple stuff, and it gives you access to all of these different icons and emojis and illustrations which you can use on your projects. And the thing to notice here is all of these have icons. So Apache icons, Open icons, and MIT icons are icons which you can use freely, commercially, and for your own personal use. And also there is a CC license. So sometimes it says CC down here, which is also free to use. And if you have these under the list, MIT, Apache, write this down, you guys. Write this down as I'm saying this. MIT, CC, Apache, or even Open license. For all of these licenses, you can use any of these icons completely for free, even if Google Materials was the first designer making this, even if this came from Material Design, even if this came from Solar or Table. If these licenses are MIT, Apache, CC, check this out, CC by 40, and Open font, you can use them freely, commercially, and physically. If at some point you figure out this icon says something weird like ISC, you're just going to go to Google, and I'm just showing you how to do this right on the spot. If you see a license that you've never seen before, go to Google, check out ISC license. And I don't know what ISC license terms are. So ISC license is a permissive free software license by Internet Software Consortium. It is functionally equivalent to BSD and MIT, but without language deemed unnecessary for Berne Convention. So the point here is MIT license allows you commercial and free and personal use, which means that ISC license is also going to allow you commercial and personal use. And now that you have all of these icons licensed with yourself, now you can use them in your portfolio. Now you can use them for a paying client, you can use them for a SaaS, you can use them for so many use cases without ever getting into the legal battle of things. And trust me, you don't want to get into the legal battle of things as a UI UX designer. You don't. Like trust me, I've been in this field for over half a decade, and you don't want to get into the legal side of things. Just trust me, this is my experience. All right, now let's talk about the logo that we're using here. So I don't want to design my own logo. Today we're talking about UI UX design. Let's stick to that, and let's do candy. If you guys type out monkey, emoji, anything at all, I'll do that. So this allows you to search inside of the material design set. This is the icon set that we selected. This bar at the top allows you to search across all the icon sets. So we're going to search for candy. Personally, I wanted to do monkey, but apparently no one wants monkey, so we'll just do candy. All right, so this is the one I used in here. This is the icon that we used in our demo, but you can also get any of these. So let's just get this really simple candy. And you can change the size in here. You can change this because we want this size to be smaller. Let's just go 100 because I don't think we'll exceed that size. The color can also be changed. So for now, we only need this shade. You know what, let's just get the shade and it'll directly, we'll not have to change the color then. So we'll just copy this hex code, go right here and paste. And now when we import this as a frame, surprise, surprise, look at what happened, ladies and gentlemen. Just press the shift key and then sort of drag your mouse, it'll make it smaller. I'm getting to the comments in just a bit. And now we're going to make sure this stays out of these. And now you automatically have a place where you can place this guy. So this automatically looks so cute. And we're just going to shift it above using our arrow keys just to make sure it is perfectly aligned in the center. And I also want to add a title, which is Candy Haven. So let's just type this out as well. Let's just type out Candy Haven and then we can get to the comments. If you guys have any questions, type them out. I'll get to them in just a bit. All right, we're just going to change this to semi-bold, increase the font size because obviously this is the part of the whole story which we want to highlight. So we're just going to change this to 18. Very simple stuff. And we're going to bring this right here. And if it gets out of hand, don't worry about it. Just, you know what, just get the both of these selected by pressing on shift and then selecting the both of them together, Control G, and this is how you group them together. And now you can add an auto layout. You can reduce the spacing. I can't see anything right now because this is currently black, so we'll just change it back to the yellow which we were using. You know what, let's just change this to white. It'll highlight things even better. And now we're going to reduce the size that was between these things. So why is there a lot of spacing? I feel like we added auto spacing here, which is a bad idea. You know what, you can just change this to say 0. And if you guys have any questions, just leave them in the chat and I'll get to it. If this is overflowing for you like it is overflowing for me, change the width or height, whatever is overflowing, from fixed width to hug content, and that's just automatically going to give you easy life. These are just hacks that come from experience. And you can change the sizing here as well, spacing here as well, and that'll make your life very easy. And now let's see what this looks like. This actually looks like a really nice navigation bar. Like, you don't get to use navigation bars like these every single day, which is why this looks so nice. And I'm going to get to the live chat now. Apurva asks, can you please design a landing page with proper design system, including well-structured text, harmonious colors, reusable components, and interactive features? That is a great idea. I come here live every single day. Within the coming week, I'll take that into consideration, Apurva, and we'll definitely have it. Like, I have a couple of designs scheduled for tomorrow and the day after, but hopefully within the next couple of days, we'll get this done as well. I'll try to do it quicker. Just subscribe, click on the bell icon. You'll get notifications whenever we go live. 8 p.m. every single day. That is Indian Standard Time, or 2:30 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time. Alright, Apurva is also asking, is it possible to get work in freelance marketplaces by learning only landing page designs? Yes and no. Yes, in terms freelance marketplaces like Upwork and Fiverr give you open access to every project that every person who is looking for needs. So everyone needs all of these different demands. Someone needs a landing page, someone needs a whole different SaaS, someone needs a mobile app, or everyone needs every different thing. And freelance marketplaces give you access to all of these different resources. Thing to notice here always is, now because you've decided to specialize in landing pages, two different things are going to happen. A, you're going to be able to focus there is a positive and negative to everything. Now you're going to be focusing completely on landing pages. You're going to improve much more. So that's just automatically going to be a result, which means you're basically trying to specialize. But if you're just starting out, any sort of specialization will still be a basic level of specialization, which means you're also limiting yourself in terms of opportunities. So this is something to notice. Freelance marketplaces will often mention, we want to design a landing page, but when you start, and I'm saying this as someone who has done freelance, but when you start with projects, sometimes a person might want you to expand to their whole site. So now that you've specialized, you will be especially better in this one field, and now they'll want you to do all of these other things, and that would be a point where you're sort of finding yourself lacking. So there is a positive and negative. If you can be sure that this is the only thing I want to specialize in, I'm okay with missing out on app design and 3 other SaaS related opportunities. That is good for you. Like, you are going to automatically be better than someone who's trying to do everything. But at the same time, it is quite important to notice here, in the real world, sometimes people want you to do, when they see you doing a great landing page job, they want you to do their SaaS, they want you to do their app. And when you're limiting yourself, you're denying yourself the money, the opportunity of now doing this other great thing which happens because of your testimonial. Because a person is only ever going to need one landing page, but they might need 2 to 3 different products in terms of app, SaaS, landing page, website, 4 different things. So out of one customer, you'll only be able to do this one thing, which is limiting to you. But also people might prefer someone who has more than just landing page experience. So think about that. Just think about that. And whatever it is, ultimately you're going to have to deal with both the positives and negatives at the same time. If I hope that answers your question. I tried to be as detailed as I could be. Anyways, now let's just talk about the images that we're using here. So I want to just point out really quickly, all of these images are available completely for free for commercial and personal use. You can find literally every single one of them in the Discord group, present in the live chat. So in the live chat, you're going to find the link which I've just put out, and you're going to find the Discord invite, our super secret, best ever UI design community in the whole world, because we support each other, provide feedback, reviews, so many useful things. And most importantly, every single UI design that I do on this channel, you can find all of the assets right here in the 100 days of UI design section. Today we're building this modern Candyland UI, so we're just going to click on this drive folder. Very, very simple stuff. And now boom, you have access to every single image that we've used in this entire UI completely for free. And you have my personal blessing and my personal gifts to you on the fact that you can use this in your portfolio, show this off to a client, show this off to a person who is hiring you. Just free license for everyone watching. That is my gift to you. Thank me later, and also on my birthday, 8th October, every single year. That's just my personal gift to you. Anyways, jokes apart, now we're going to actually be able to put a background image. So while we are doing that, let's just first decide what background image we need to work with. So the background image that we're working with is this one, image lumi.png, and you're going to just download this image, and it's just going to take its own time downloading this image. The good thing with these images that you're getting from the Discord group is every single image is specifically sized for the frame size that we're building. So we're building out for MacBook Air 1 today, and every single image is perfectly sized, and you don't have to worry about scaling issues, pixelation issues. You can actually put this in real world case studies without images becoming grainy and all sorts of weird licensing headaches happening. So that is something to consider. We're going to press Ctrl-Shift-K inside of Figma, and this is going to give you this open window of all of your different files. Go ahead and select your newly downloaded file, and now you're going to put this at the back. Select your image, and you're just very, very simply going to drag it, place it right here. Right click, send to back. Very, very important stuff. Send to back. And I want to just talk about one other thing here, because this image is so lively, because there is a literal Christmas candy party going on over here. If you were to type out random text, whether in white, like you can try white, you can try the shade of navy blue that we're doing. It is going to be difficult for us to read when there is white in the background, so you can't read this, or it's going to be difficult when there are these weird shadows in the background. So no matter what you do, when the image is literally a party in the background, it becomes really hard to be able to read the text without it feeling like a burden. Either it's not going to be readable, or it's going to feel like a real bad burden. So the way you fix that is glass morphism. This was a modern trend which came in about 2020, and it literally transformed the way we were looking at things. So we're going to build out a glass morphism hero section today. Super duper special. Like, glass morphism seems like such a great concept to persons who've never built it. You can tell this to a client, by the way. If you build this out and send this to a freelance platform, send this to a real world client, or advertise your skills, glass morphism is a really special cool skill, and I'm going to show you how you do this in right now, like in front of your face. Very simple stuff. Step 1, create rectangle. So glass morphism, which is actually a fancy, cool, advanced UI designer technique, we're going to break that down. Step 1, this is a really simple rectangle. Any shape, any size, width, height, does not matter. Does not matter. The thing to remember with glass morphism is, as long as you get a couple of things right, does not matter. Fill is going to be white, obviously. And now that we have this white color, we obviously need to be able to see through. So the first thing you need to remember with glass morphism is see through. You can change the color from white to off-white, black, any other shade, but always glass morphism equals to see through, because glass morphism has the word glass in it, so transparent, see-through. I hope that makes sense. The way you're going to reduce the transparency here is go down to the bottom. You're going to find the opacity slider, slide it up to a degree where you're happy with the way things are visible. So I personally love the number 35. I'm just going to stick with it right here. It looks good. And see-through, that's the main point. See-through, done. You can add a border radius here as well. So now that you have this be see-through, now we're going to focus on making this glass look even cuter. So we're trying to create a glass which is a transparent, translucent layer. Everything is see-through, and yet text in the foreground is much more readable. So you can now make this glass cuter, because we are UI UX designers after all. Cuteness is a great part of, I think for most UI UX designers, cuteness is a great part of our personality. You can round off the borders. It's going to make your UI come to life. And as an added effect, you can add a stroke, very thin stroke if you want to, 1 pixel only in my personal recommendation, plain white, or you can reduce the opacity, and this is just going to define the edges. Like, I like to reduce the opacity a little bit higher than 35. 48 is good. And this is now set without using any shadows, anything at all. Now you're able to tell exactly where your glass is and where the edges are and where it starts and where it ends. So I hope that makes sense. All right, I'm going to get to the comments, you guys. I love reading your comments, but we have to keep going. All right, so one thing to remember here is this is just see-through glass right now. It is not frosty glass. So to do frosty glass, we're going to go to effects, add an effect, and drop shadow is actually a great effect, but it does not achieve frosty glass. Don't get confused. We're going to change this to background blur. So background blur is what you're looking for. Background blur is what happens when you're looking through something through a frosty glass. So background blur, and number is going to be really low for now, because this is a really pretty bright image. So I'm just going to stick with the automatic number which it has given me, 4. You can work with this number a little bit, experiment, and this actually looks much more like a glass, but I feel like it's just going to be distracting at this point. Let's just switch it back to 4. This looks good. And now we have this really simple, really pretty glass, and now we're going to start typing out the title. So I just want to get this title out of the way, just because I love the font that we're going to be using now. This is my grand reveal for today. Taste the World. TASTE, the world. If for some reason you're not typing it out correctly, you can just go right here, change the sentence case to this, and every single word will be capitalized. Title case, super special UI designer experience hack. And we're going to change this to a wide serif font. So when you're using a serif and a sans serif, and when you're using a sans serif like this, which is actually quite wide compared to Roboto and your thinner font types, you now want to search for a serif also which is thick. A thick serif which has recently been introduced is LC and LC swash caps. So I feel like we're using LC swash caps before because it is more fancy. You can work with LC too. Like, we're going to talk about LC in one of the future videos really soon. I have cool plans for LC. All right, now we're going to make this black, and that's just the thickest setting it goes to. Reduce this to 84. And with that, check it out, you guys. Let's just make sure the color is the exact shade of blue which we were using. So you can find your whole color palette right here as well. Check it out. This actually looks so pretty, and I love the ST. One of the things to notice here is the difference between LC and LC swash is LC at the top, LC does not use these curves. Does it? When the hell did this happen? I feel like I'm being roasted on my own platform. So here's the difference. LC, check out this T, just pay attention to this T. This T is very specific with LC, but when you're using LC swash, this just becomes really fancy and really weird. And I feel like when the theme is Candyland, let's go fancy. Like, this might not be suitable for a hospital site, but when the theme is Candyland, you can go 100% in. Let's now read the comments. Apurva says, thank you for your feedback. I hope this valuable content reaches a wider audience, but please don't skip it. Thank you from Bangladesh. That is so nice of you. I am not skipping anything, not for the world. Akash says, can you share with us some resources that teach us everything about typography, how to choose a specific font, how to scale, how to set line height and everything? just this, I am laughing right now because this is the phone that we're talking about, with sort of discussing through. And in this exact phone, right as we speak, just today, I recorded the biggest, like, hour long ultimate typography crash course in the whole world. It is a long one, so it's going to take me a little while to edit, but you're asking for the exact video that's unedited right now in this. So it's completely recorded. Every question that you're asking right now, how to choose a specific font, scale, set line height, even font licensing, I recorded the video for that today, right here on that corner of the studio. So I do want to get into that. I don't want to spoil too much, because then what will be the point of making a separate video? I made the grandest video in the whole world across YouTube. Like, I studied so much for this, even after my own skills, and I've just recorded it, and I'm so excited for all of you guys to see it. Make sure to just click the bell icon after you subscribe. Not for me, just because you should not miss the ultimate typography video. Just don't miss it, you guys. I worked so hard on it, recorded it today, and my neck hurt for 3 hours after. So don't miss it, please don't. All right. Back to business. We are serious, and we don't laugh in the middle of UI design. Let's be serious designers for a moment. Explore exotic suites. This is the description we're building out. Again, once you've decided your fonts, relax. The basic thing with typography, my number one tip right now would be, once you've decided your fonts, Honest and LC swash caps, now you need to relax. Don't do 3 fonts in the beginning. Don't do 4 fonts in the beginning. I have been doing this for so long, and I still don't go with 3 fonts, simply because it gets really hard to balance things, and then you're sort of in a place where you're forgetting about one font or the other, and it leads to really terrible shit looking results. So stick with the fonts. Akash is asking same with color. I will get to the color thing as well. I will get to it as well. I will. Most definitely. Just let me edit this out, because I'm very low on storage space. Did you guys know, and this is, I know this is too much information, I'm just going to copy and paste this text, and I'm going to get into it. Just for this typography video today, I had to uninstall WhatsApp from my phone, because we were recording from this camera. This is a great camera, and it was taking up a little too much space, so now no one can video call me. This is horrible. My phone is just a piece of storage container and grass now. I receive no video calls on this phone or any phone, because this is the only phone. This is, I'm in a horrible position. I know this live stream makes me look all great, but believe me, for this channel, the sacrifices I've made. Anyways, Honest is... Apurva asks, when are you going to upload it? I need to edit it first. there is so much stuff that goes on. Sometimes a tractor goes from behind the studio. Sometimes parrots start screaming. This is literally what happens. This is what happens when you live in a wonderful country surrounded by a lot of wildlife. Like, a lot of really funny stuff goes on behind these walls, and so I have to make sure editing and everything is on point. I will release it as soon as I can, literally. I also have one masterclass which is going to come out, I feel like, within this week, and it talks about the only video in the world you need to watch to land your first freelance client, and the top 3 mistakes everyone is making right now. So I feel like that's also going to be very relevant to this crowd. And we're going to stick with a really small font size. 22 is very comparatively smaller, and I'm just going to stick with it. The thing to notice here is you can go back and forth with these thicknesses and explore what works well for you. I feel like regular is going to look much better, and so we're going to stick with that. The last thing that you need to make sure of is the button. Button has to be grand. The reason button has to be grand is because now we're in a relaxed space. Now we're in a space where people need to click on this button. Like, even if the person didn't take a look at anything else, this is the red little thing that's going to generate profits for us. Profit is money. Money is fun. So button has to be as big and grand and perfect as possible. The way we do that is we're going to copy and paste this, and we're just going to get a text box now. Let's change the text to say shop now. SHOPNOW, which reminds me, holy Lord, I've set this to right align, which is horrible. We have to make sure every center line thing is center line. Like, check me out. I'm just going against my own principles. Now we're going to talk about the simplest way in the whole world to make the brightest, most beautiful buttons. Pay close attention, class. Right click, frame selection. add an auto layout, add some padding to the left and right, add some padding to the top and bottom, and you can just go very, very liberal with the left and right padding, and this is just going to give your button a more grand appearance. Add a fill. You know what, let's just go with a very, very bright shade of red today, FF1515. I'm just eyeballing the color here. Since red is very, very bright, white now has to be the color of the text, because black and very dark red are really difficult to look at. So very, very simple principle. And we're going to make this thicker now. Thickness set to semi-bold. You can go even bolder, but no issues even if you don't. And I feel like we're going to go even wider. Sometimes when you're designing these things, it feels like you need to stop because it's a little too wide. But user is not going to think that. No user ever thought the button was too wide, because everyone at the end of the day wants people to shop. And if this is the thing that the people are seeing, ultimately great news for the brand. 108 and 18 is the numbers that we're using. I don't want to mess with them a little bit too much, because this looks really, really nice in and of itself right now. You're going to increase the border radius, and font size for this and this has to be different. So this is something you have to remember. Mostly button font sizes are smaller. Let's change this to 18, and this should be good enough, like perfect. All right, done. And check this out, very, very simple stuff. If it doesn't give off perfectly center line feelings, you can adjust the rectangle here. Press shift always, select multiple things at once, control G, and then just align it perfectly in the center. You can just press this button as well, and this is also going to align things in the center for you with relation to the page. Looks good. And with that, we have our complete navigation bar, which was a modern take as well, and hero section ready. The next section we're building out is my favorite. I know I say this all the time, but this is one of my favorites. The bento grid with a lot of images. This is very simple to build out, by the way. Very, very simple stuff. Let's speed run this, because it is the simplest thing in the whole world. Again, I just want to add one thing more. When you're scrolling, so sometimes when people enter your site, if we had let this section take the entire screen size, many senior citizens, many people who aren't very familiar with technology wouldn't know that they need to scroll. So sometimes it's really difficult to know if there is anything to scroll. So it is a good idea to always leave some space after your hero section, so people know that there is something else, and then they scroll. So this increases the likelihood of people scrolling and seeing your entire design. Sometimes you'll be surprised to know that sometimes founders and people who are really high up, shareholders and stuff, are also of the older generation, and they forget to scroll. And if the hero section is the only thing that's visible, now you're at a place where they're not going to scroll, and it's gut wrenching to watch when you present a UI and people don't scroll. It's horrible. Take it from someone who's seen every mental torture related to UI design in the world. Take it from me. The next thing we're building out is the gallery, and we're using bento grids as well. Bento grid is a Japanese tiffin box which UI designers decided to be innovative with, and they sort of made this really weird shape, and now it's the trend of the decade. So bento grids, very, very simple stuff. Let's create a simple frame. Go right here, make this a little bit big. Don't worry if the size isn't perfect, it will adjust itself. Most UI designs adjust themselves. I know I sound really, really weird and give it away sort of, but most UI designs will work themselves out, even if it doesn't look perfect in the beginning. Very, very simple stuff. Just make sure this is a little bit bigger. Apurva says, the way you speak English seems like someone is shooting. Really amazing. Can you give any tips on speaking English? Did you know, before I say anything on this topic, did you know before I started this channel, I was wondering whether to start an English channel or tech channel, but ultimately tech is where the profits are. So this is where I came. No, I'm kidding. But seriously, I did want to teach English in the beginning. But right now I want to teach UI design. At some point in the future, maybe I'll break into the programming side of things, because I'm also a programmer. And then someday, if I'm lucky enough, maybe we'll do a English channel. I literally have so much training in English. It's crazy. I don't want to brag. Anyways, the font that we were using is LC Swash Caps. And with time, English is going to better itself, and things are going to work out, even if it doesn't seem so. In all seriousness, let's just align this in the center. and we're going to change this to black, obviously. Font size is going to be 96. Top English tip of the day: watch this UI design tutorial. Hopefully, learning a lot of learning comes from literally looking at things and sort of deciphering them. Even in the beginning, I watched every single English show and tutorial and video I could, just because translating and figuring things out in your head helps with your English a lot as well. A visual feast of our candies. So I don't want to type it out because I'm a lazy sort of person, and if I did type it out, you all would figure out how bad I am at typing live. So I'm not going to embarrass myself. I'm just going to paste it here, and now we're styling this out. So select it in itself, change the font to honest, and we're going to get this down to a regular, because I feel like regular is what we were working with. In fact, we're going to reduce the font size as well, because this is a little too large. 22 was the size that we were working with. And here's something to remember: when you're using this large font style and this large font style, if possible, if feasible, make sure the font size, the font width is almost the same, is the same. So when you're using these exact same ones, let's just change this to 96 as well. And this is now a part of, you know what, let's change this to 84, because that would be more feasible here. This is all a part of consistency. Same exact font style, same exact font sizes will make your UI much more coherent, and that is quite important. And with that, we have our title and description ready. And this is where things get really interesting. Now we're building out a bento grid. Bento grid is a very popular format. People love this so much in modern UI design. All of these images are available completely for free on the Discord group. Go join it from the live chat. Do not miss it. And this is the Discord group which you join. All of the images we're using are completely for free, and we're going to download all of the images that we're using here as well. So the first image is this stone image. Let's go right here, download this image. Very simple stuff. Other images, candy image, blue candy image. Just go ahead, download these images. You don't have to worry about resizing, don't have to worry about anything. Completely for free. I'm not ever going to put a court case on you. Open personal and commercial use license from my side to yours, and also a blessing. Take it, run with it. Wish me a happy birthday on my birthday. And this is the next image that we're building out, image 2222. And this is the last image, a can of literal jars. Let's just go right here and download this. Done. And with that, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different images with us. Bento grids are these really sweet, simple grids. And this is where we're going to start importing our images. So just press Ctrl-Shift-K, and that's just going to open up your files for you. Just press Ctrl-Shift-K on your keyboard. If you can't, just go right here and select image. And now you have 6 different images that you just imported. So I'm just going to drag my cursor. You can also press Control if you're on Windows, and this opens up all of these different images for you. I don't want to spoil the UI that we're building. Let's place these images out. Where the hell did my images go? They are right here. I hope we didn't lose all of the images. No, we did not lose them. Where the hell did my images go? I feel like we got rid of some images on some confusing. Manav is asking when I'm reviewing the subscribers work. Manav, this is one of the videos that's in the works. I was just talking about how I'm having a weird editing and storage space sort of crisis. Don't worry, everything is in process. We're figuring it out. It's going to come up really soon. I know we're all really waiting for it, for all of those reviews, and I have so many things to say. Like, I'm just waiting to release those videos. They are in process, coming really soon. Like, I don't want to spoil a lot of things. I know everyone on this channel, my name, and I know who did what from the Discord group. So I remember your design, and I do want to talk about it. Just give me a little bit of time. We're just figuring this out. Akash Kushal says, I guess we're back at it again. Akash, welcome back. How are the rabbits? Viswaja says, can you differentiate between landing page, hero section, home page? I want to get into this description really soon, guys. We'll get to the UI design. I want to get into this description because this is an amazing question. Landing page is the first page that the user enters. So for example, if I go to candyhaven.com. This is the landing page. The first page that I'm going to come across is the landing page. This is where the person from outside worlds lands. The next thing is hero section. First section of landing page which user notices upon immediate arrival is hero section. This is the hero section. It is inside of the landing page. This is like a room, the first room, and landing page is the home. And homepage is often the first page that companies like to put as their main page. So you could have, so here's the thing, sometimes, hold on, landing page is the page where people introduce their product. Home page is the page which people go to most often. Sometimes landing page and home page are same, sometimes they're not same. Sometimes when they're same, they're the same exact thing. And for websites that like to differentiate, when a site has two different pages, one is landing, one is home, landing page will introduce, hi, my name is Veera, I'm a UI UX designer with a terrible sense of humor. Home page is going to be, these are my home links, terrible sense of humor, UI design tutorials, who I am, and my social media. So home is usually going to have all of your links. Landing page is going to introduce you. Sometimes one single page solves both of these problems, and so it's grouped as the same thing, and then you can call the same exact thing landing or home page. I hope that answers your question. Akash Pirol, great, welcome, so happy to see you. Now we're going to get into the bento grids once again, because wow, I've been screaming since the literal morning today, and I can't stop screaming. Anyways, now that we have all of these literal images, you're just going to sort them out visually. First image, biggest image, goes on the left. Second image, wide image, goes at the bottom. And these 4 images are actually, you can just use them wherever you want. So just select all of them at once, go and click on this button at the bottom, bring them right here, make sure that spacing is very well adjusted. We'll get into the pixel perfect spacing in just a bit, but you can position any of these wherever you want, and it really would not make any difference. So I feel like this section had this green image right here, but we're putting this right here, but it does not matter, size is same. If you're not having these images from our Discord group, if you're getting your own images, make sure to add a border radius of 24 pixels. Our Discord group is such an accommodating, wonderful place that we've already added these border radiuses for you, so we try to do the most that we can. So now that we have this sorted out, let's just make sure everything is perfectly spaced apart. Here's one thing to remember about bento grids. When you are building bento grids, width spacing, height spacing, so the spacing on this and the spacing on this, all of these spacings have to be one singular equal number. Let's say the spacing here is 32, so then the spacing between these is going to be 32 and these is going to be 32. Always the same number. All right. And now we're going to just get these together, press shift, select all of them, and just get, oops, I feel like we messed up. Anyways, if sometimes it gets really hard to handle bento grids, so you're going to handle them one by one. So I want you to break down the most complicated bento grid in the world, and it'll just simplify so quickly. These 4 are very simple grid boxes, 2x2 grid, 4 simple images. You're going to select them all at once, press shift, group them together. And the reason I'm grouping them together, even though this is a grid, is because this is now very, very easy to handle. If you're working with auto layouts and bento grids, those two never work well together in my experience. So it's almost easier to have them organized in groups first, just coming from experience. All right, and now that we have this singular, now that we have this image group, you can move this around on its own, and now you also have this image, and now you're going to group this together. So now you have this group, first group which holds all of these images, 4 of these images, and the second group which holds 4 of these images as a box, and then this at the bottom as well. So I feel like this image at the bottom is taking twice the space as one of these images, and so the established idea here is, just check this out, you guys. The spacing between this and this has to be such that it's equal to this. So that's just the established idea. So you're going to reduce, I feel like we messed up. So we're just going to put this right here and reduce it to the point where, just take a rectangle, draw it around. You're going to reduce the spacing to a point where everything is equal. So this might need some time. Go to the group, adjust the spacing. up to the point where, so this 24 looks good. And so 24 is the magic number for this bento grid, this specific grid, just because we had already planned it before. And now 24 is our magic number for this bento grid. So the spacing between this and this is 24, spacing between this and this is 24, spacing between this and this is also going to be 24. So you're going to go to group 3, which is this group, and spacing here is also going to be 2, 4, 24. And spacing between this group and this image is also going to be 24. So just again press shift, group them together, because one single grid is easier to handle. And now the spacing is also going to be 24. So the magic number with this bento grid is 24. If you find after this whole grouping 3 times goes away, after you have one single group, you should add an auto layout, because everything will now be equally aligned at the top and bottom. So this is the simplest way in the whole wide world to use bento grids. I hope that was easy to understand, because I tried to just break it down into its simplest principles. All right, we're going to shift this above, obviously, and go right here, bring this right here, and check this out. This is actually a really, really pretty looking, very, very plain, simple section. But, 1,000 buts. Here's something to remember. When you're designing a UI like this, do not miss the opportunity to brag. And I'll decode what I mean by that. When you're presenting a UI like this to a freelance client, to a client or a hiring manager or someone who you're showing off your work to, it is really important to professionally show off all of these different techniques that you've learned. When you're learning from a tutorial like this, it's really easy to understand that this is a simple rectangle, we added an effect, we did something, and then boom, at the end of the day, you ended up with a site that looks like this. But when you're showing this to someone who isn't a UI designer, it is important to give a distinction of what you're capable of, and that's just going to set you apart when you're starting out. I can do glass morphism really, really well for hero sections. I can do bento grids for descriptions and for galleries. And now, instead of sounding like a person who's just watched a YouTube video and come to handle the greatest site on the internet, now you're sounding like a person who is of keen sense of design, who knows what they're talking about, who can figure out all of these different things. If at some point you're asked what glass morphism is, what bento grids are, now you have an answer for that as well. If you want to know the exact word by word answer, rewind this video. I've talked about glass morphism, I've talked about bento grids, and I will talk about them again if you request them in the live chat. That is always an open option. So just never miss the opportunity to brag, especially if it is to someone who you need to demonstrate your skill to. Tell them clearly you can do bento grids for galleries, you can do bento grids for image layouts, you can do glass morphism for hero sections, for background image highlights. These are just cute little micro skills that you need to have, you need to show off, instead of sounding like a dumb designer out of YouTube tutorial villa. Now you sound like someone who actually knows what they're talking about. I hope that tip was helpful. All right. Manav says, can we say a splash screen is kind of a landing page? No. Splash screen is not a landing page. Splash screen is the loading screen. Splash screen or loading screen is the same thing. Splash screen is what comes up when you just enter a site for 3 little seconds and it goes away. Splash screen is technically the 0th screen, not even the first screen, because you don't get anything of literal value, of educative value from splash screen. You just know the logo and title of the company. You've never ever gotten anything other than a logo and name of the company from a splash screen. Landing page is literally the opposite of splash screen. Splash screen is the bare minimum information. Landing page is the first and most important place for information. Never mix these up together. Landing page is where you introduce the product. Splash screen is where you're just loading things up. So bare minimum about the product is learned. Very, very important distinction. All right. Now we're building out this next section, very, very bright red. And the reason we just switched around with these colors is because when you're building out on an abstract concept, so when you're actually going to present this to whoever you're presenting this to, add this to your portfolio, thing is going to be the question that you're going to be asked is, what is this site? This is not a common real estate agency marketing website. This is a very, very specific abstract site of a what was the title? Hold on. Candyland. idea, concept, color scheme translated into candy store website. So you have these really heavy words on your back now, and you sort of have to justify them with abstract, amazing boom sort of thing that happens on your screen. And this is a really, really nice break from the usual white scroll, white scroll, white scroll, or for dark mode users, black, 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 black scroll. And now you have this really bright section which gives the right amount of attention to these points. Why choose us? Because this is your moat. This is the place where they're introducing themselves and just being really in the face. So this provides a really, really nice break from monotony, break from the matrix. Important stuff. Now we're going to build out this next section, and before we do that, let's take a quick 1 or 2 minute break, because honestly, my throat is so hoarse it could belong to a horse. Can't speak. Back. That was a really, really long break. I'm so happy everyone hasn't run away by now. Anyways, next section we're building out is why choose us. Very, very simple thing to build as a UI design element. Just go to the frames, create a new frame, and this is going to be a little bit less than 1280. Sorry, a little bit less than 800, because 800 is this height, and we're trying to leave a little bit of spacing at the top and bottom. So a little bit less than 800. 748 looks good. Color we're using here is the exact red that we've used for our call to action button. So this is where all of these colors which we used previously are coming back to home to roost, and this is consistency in one word. So very, very bright shade. I know it looks shocking. It looks shocking to me too, but that is sort of the point. Now we're just going to go right here and type out, hold on. I'm going to go right here and type, where is my cursor? Hold on, let me just reopen Figma. Blacked out on my face. Horrible. Come on, Figma, you're better than this. Let's let this load up. If you guys have any questions related to UI UX design, just leave them in the chat. And by the way, make sure to subscribe, you guys. If you haven't yet subscribed, come on, don't act like we aren't watching a UI design stream at 10 p.m. Indian Standard Time, or for a prolonged period wherever you are in the world. Don't act like you're too cool for this channel. Come on. If you're watching this, you're cool enough for us. We'd love to have you. Do not forget to join the Discord group. Every single perk that comes with this channel is literally there. Do not miss it. And we're just going to, oops, why is Figma so weird? Anyways, this is the image that we're putting here. These images are available completely for free for both commercial and personal use if you download them from my Discord, link in the live chat and description. So you're just going to go right here, and this is the benefits image, because the benefit section is what we're making. We're just going to download this. While this is downloading, we're going to go back. You know what? We don't need a rectangle, especially because we have these images that we've downloaded now, which are perfectly sized for this specific UI. Go to downloads, go right here, get this image out, and this is now perfectly sized for our UI. If sizing seems to be an issue, you can always adjust these sizings. Just make sure it's a little bit less than 780, 800, and that's 800, and that's going to be good enough. And with that, 767 is, I believe, the size that we're working with. The only thing to remember here is, when you press Alt key, spacing between this and this should almost be equal. So let's do 19 at the top and bottom, and also on the side. So now things are looking very, very nice and equal in our own eyes. So when we have this with us, now we're going to now create this next section. Why choose us? Apurva says, make it responsive, not today. All right, we'll make it responsive in one of the upcoming streams. We'll do a responsive UI stream where we'll take all different UIs that we've built across and we'll try to make them responsive. if you're looking for very specific responsive design tutorials, I'd recommend going to this channel, to our own channel, like going to this channel. Inside of the playlists, there is a responsive industry standard playlist where you can find all of these responsive projects which are up to date with the current trends of the industry, so you can put them as actual portfolio projects and they're responsive as well. I'm just changing the font to LC Swash. Obviously, font size is going to go up to 84. This was the size that we were using. If 84 seems a little too big, you can go down now. 64 is a good place to downsize. And obviously, we're going to change this to the deep blue that we were using. And black is the thickness as well. The reason I'm not using white is because, and this might seem a little bit counterintuitive. So you might ask me now, I have a red background. Why would I want blue text? Like, wouldn't it make more readable sense if it was white? Yes, you're right. It would make more readable sense if we were white. But the point is, we are reserving the readability and the drawing attention properties of white and red for these actual additional advantages. So I do want to maintain that. Just because the first thing that the user now notices is these advantages, which we want to highlight in the first place, you're going to hold off on the reward that is red and white. Just put red and blue or red and black here, and hold off on the call to action surprise, which is what we're reserving for these 3 sections. I hope that makes sense. Apurva asks, channel name please. Go to my own this is the channel name, Veera Srivastav. This is the channel. Just go to this channel and just look for them, like this channel name, Veera Srivastav, this one. Let's get these cards inside. So you can let's create a simple frame. Akash says that's a really good insight. Thank you. Let's create a simple frame, and now we're going to add white. This is where we're utilizing the entire abilities of white and red, and now we're going to add a border radius as well. The border radius magic number, which we've been using for so many of these, is 24, but when you're reducing the sizes, you have to work with these numbers, and so we're going to half that. Let's do 12. Looks good enough. And now we're going to add all of these different elements. Unique international treats. Let's get this right here. Unique. Don't worry about the font right now. International treats. And we're going to change this obviously to honest, which is our sans serif font of the day. Semi bold and medium and regular are the 3 thicknesses we're working with today. Just a reminder of what we're doing. Anyways, let's reduce this down to 22 because I feel like 22 was the number that we were working with originally. And now that we have this with us as well, this is where we're going to add our description. So I'm just going to copy our description from right here. We're going to go back. Coding Tutorials asks what I'm trying to make. I am making a Candyland candy store UI design landing page, complete 1-page website, if that makes sense. You can just check out the title of this video, and I hope it is simple. If it isn't, could anyone please explain this simple answer to Coding Tutorials? I feel like it would simplify everyone's life a whole lot. You're just going to create a new text box and just paste here in match style, and now we're going to style this. So this is the exact same text box. Text has been changed. If you want to change the text, pause this video right here, type out these descriptions. I've just copied and pasted it. So I'm just going to reduce the font size now to 18 because 16 is a little too small for my taste, and bring this thickness down to regular. Let's go 16. Why not? Let's go 16. And with that, check it out. We have this really, really nice, pretty looking card, which is talking about why the user has a better advantage at choosing us. So this is our really, really simple looking frame. Just check this out. This looks really, really nice. I'm just going to adjust the spacing. You can adjust this as much as you want. And now you have this very, very reusable component. Speaking of reusable components, we are now going to build out our very first asset. Let's just go right here, create an asset. And I want to create an asset because now we're going to get into the advanced Figma world. So let's just go right here and create an asset out of this. Before you create an asset, you have to be sure you're using the right thing. So we have our title, we have our description, we have our frame, everything is perfectly aligned, perfectly centered. I feel like this is a good time to create an actual asset. This is our frame. Let's now create an asset. So we're going to go right here, create component. And now that you have created a component, it is going to be available as an asset. So now you can go right here and get another version of frame 7. This is going to be a variant. So the first asset that you create is a component, and every copy of this asset is going to be a variant. If I created an asset out of this unique image, that would be the first one, major main copy component, and every copy that I create out of my master file is a variant. So these are all variants. I actually will share this complete link after we're done with this. I do it in every single video coding tutorials. Do not miss it. Watch till the end. I share it in a live chat though. So you have to watch while we're live, and also live replay is available later if anyone's wondering. Now we're just going to make sure everything is perfectly aligned together, and then we're going to work with the variants a little bit more. So just add an auto layout, and that's just going to align everything perfectly for you. And you can adjust this sizing as well. I think I'll go up to 18 because it is now giving us really easy ways to look at this whole thing. Now we're changing these texts out. So you can pause this video at any point, you guys. I just don't want to go through that whole thing again because I type really slow on live stream. I want to get that clear right off the bat. And let's just go right here. And since this is a variant, we can just paste here match style. We're just changing out the text. So in all of these 3 different variants, we're just changing out the text. Very simple stuff. While I'm changing this text out, if you guys have any questions related to UI UX design or fun cool stories, I would love to hear them. Make sure to type it out in the chat. And let's just change out these texts here as well. If you guys type Y in the chat if you guys are searching for freelance clients as UI UX designers, and I'll reveal something awesome. Type Y in the chat if you're looking for freelance clients right now. Quick poll. And now we have this section ready with us. Now that we have this section ready with us, the next section we're building out is once again my favorite. I know I have a ton of favorites, but I promise this is my favorite. And the reason this is so at the top of the list of my favorites is because color balance is a great advanced UI design principle which we have managed to master in this one. So let me just break that down. Color scheme is the bunch of colors that you're using in this UI. Color scheme is a list of colors that you're using in this UI. Color balance is being able to use these colors so that they're all visually taking up equal parts in the frame. Nothing looks too overpowered, nothing looks out of balance, nothing looks really weird. Everything is in perfect synchronicity, harmony, everything looks good, and that's what I mean by color balance. Why is this a section that's working? This section is working because the primary colors, so the yellow which we have in the background is just the background color. It doesn't matter. It could have been white either. But these colors which are bright and which are very visible are almost equal in quantity. So deep bright red is over here and over here at the top bar and a button. And then deep bright blue is at the bottom bar and at the top heading. And both of these are very equivalent sort of area in the area that they're physically taking, and this makes this a delight to look at. Like, the reason this looks so good has nothing to do with the image, it just has to do with the color balance. So now we're building out the section which has amazing color balance. Let's now create a very simple frame. Let's put them right here, and now we're going to start creating our very simple image. So this is the lemon image. We're going to get it from obviously our Discord group image library. It is downloading our image currently. What are some of the current problems you guys are facing? I'm just going to add a background color here. what are some of the current problems you are facing? I would love to know as a UI UX designer, whether it's in the job market, whether it's in your own portfolio journey, whether it is in your own personal projects, whether it is a concept that you're struggling with. I would want to know, definitely. You can make this as big as you want it to be. And now you have something that looks like this. With this image with us, now that we have this image with us, and I feel like this shade is a little bit darker than what we had originally planned, but it does not matter just because these colors are working well together. This red is a little bit more on the orange side of the story than this is a little bit more pink, but it doesn't matter. If it looks good, it looks good. The join the sweet adventure is our tagline. I do not want to mess up the tagline, because why would I want to do it? Join the, hold on, what was the tagline again? Join this. This is what I'm talking about. I am a horrible typist. Sweet adventure, which is great, as which is a great quality for someone who is in my fields. Someone is talking about interviews and interviews having a lot of problems. Could you guys get specific on what part of interviews are stumping you specifically? Just finding things out. And now we have this LC swash caps. I want to, just because we reduce the size of this guy, so you can go above here, so you can increase the size from 64 to 84, because 84 is also a size that we used for titles before. But I feel like if you we reduce the size, because this space that this section was taking was very, very small compared to these guys. So these are like the bigger ones, and the space that we were taking here was actually quite small. But space issues are also going to be in this section as well. So I feel like sticking with this consistency is not a bad deal. This looks good. And now we're going to get our description in here as well. So let's go back to the top and copy one of these text boxes. The reason I'm going and selecting very specific text boxes is because it is going to be really easy to work with later on. Again, if you guys have any questions related to interviews, anyone watching and everyone watching, what part of interviews do you guys struggle with? I do want to break a couple of difficult topics down while we are live streaming today. And let's now change this to medium. So a visual feast of our candies. I feel like you could change this to medium, and that would just be really, really visually intriguing. Let's change this to medium. Hold on. Give me a moment. Just give me one moment. All right, now that we have this ready with us, we're going to work on our final button. Let's go back to the top, copy this button, and we're going to go down and we're going to paste it right here. Very, very simple stuff. And you don't have to even change this button by a whole lot. Mic went out for a little bit, but you don't have to change this button at all. This is just now going to be the very, very simple title, description, and call to action button that we're using. Let's now select all of these. Make sure to press shift. Let's bring them right here. And now we're going to build out this next section, loved by candy enthusiasts absolutely everywhere. We also bring in a wildcard of a color, which is something we don't usually do for color schemes. We are bringing in a wildcard of a color now, just because how bright yellow this is. Just because this yellow is also going to be present right here. So I was introducing a weird new mockup, and it looked really, really weird to ignore the overwhelming presence of yellow here. So we've brought in a wild card of a yellow, and this isn't always a bad thing. So it is primarily advised to UI UX designers to stick with your color scheme, stick with your consistency. But when you have images that look like this, when you have wildcards coming in as colors, this is going to be a surprise, and that can be a double-edged sword. So it can also be a good thing in the sense users are now focusing on this color which they had never ever seen before, and against the stark navy blue contrast, this is now starting to look like a good thing. So that's just something you need to wrap your head around. So the way we're going to do this is, obviously you need all of these different logo images, which you can find obviously in our Discord group. Make sure to join the Discord group from our live chat and description. You can find all of these images. I know I'm just repeating myself here. You will find all of these different images inside of our Discord group images as well. So let's just go back. Hold on. Give me one moment. Let's just go back, select this image. And since we're bringing in wildcard color entries, we're also sort of bringing in this thickness which we hadn't worked with before, but it is going to end up looking really, really nice and really, really simple. So you're just going to go to the top, and obviously you're going to go to the top and increase this, and now we're going to create a new frame. So we're going to go right here, create a different frame. And now we're going to add a fill color. This fill color is going to be the exact same shade of navy blue which we've been using. So this is now going to be inside of our frame. If it is not visible, it's probably because it's in a different frame. So you have to make sure you're using the correct frame. And now we're going to paste our image as well, which we got from our Discord group. You can just get it from the main Google Drive file. This is our grid of logos. Very, very simple stuff. You don't need to resize anything. You don't need to work with anything. I don't yet have the PNG right now with me, but it is in the group though. So now that we have this with us, we're going to type this out, loved by candy enthusiasts everywhere. We're going to type this out, loved by candy enthusiasts everywhere. And I feel like this is the point where we're starting to introduce wildcards, just because we've never done it before, and I feel like it would be a very, very interesting take on things. So we're just going to increase the font size to 56, and it is at this point we're going to start doing things we haven't done before. For example, changing the font weight to... The font weight is sort of vacillating between extra bold and bold, so we will just stick with extra bold, and that should be good enough. We're going to bring this down and change everywhere to the bright shade of the yellow that we were using. So bright shade of yellow is really, really important, because the next mock-up that we're building out is going to need a little bit of a bright yellow spark. Let's go right here, shift this below, select the word everywhere, and you don't yet have the yellow. Before you jump in and put in the yellow and mess everything up, wait, like just wait for a second. You're going to, if you just want to put a pin in it, just add a really, really weird color which you wouldn't add. Just put this purple. In fact, this purple looks really, really cute, but it's out of the color scheme, out of question though. I get distracted with colors easily. We're going to select this mockup, download it, very, very simple stuff. And a part of this section is, now we're going to get the yellow color from our next section, which means we also have to build out the next section. So let's go to the top. This next section is approximately this thick, and just you have to do this with your eyes. It doesn't have to be perfectly measured in inches and centimeters. Who does that? Not me. We're going to zoom in, obviously, create a new frame, bring this right here, and now we're going to add a fill. So this is going to be a different shade than what we've been using, and since this is like the time of wildcards, we've used a really, really nice shade of orange, which is in absolute stark contrast, opposite to the purple that we've been using on the color scheme, on the color wheel. And I want to get into that really, really quickly. when you're building out sections that look like this and your goal in mind is to get wildcards, it's often a good idea to get colors which have already been used in images, and that's what we've done over here and over here. So this is the exact same shade of orange which we're using in the marshmallows, and the yellow is also present here. So these colors are already present. These might seem like wildcards, but they are taken from somewhere which is already there in the image, so that has to be remembered. We're going to go down here, create our image, get this from mockups, get it out here, and we're going to place this right here. Very, very simple stuff. And now we're going to change this to the right shade of yellow which we've been using, and now we have our wildcard executed to absolute heavenly perfection. Now we're going to change this to purple, so we're just going to go right here, get this changed to purple, to orange. You know what, this looks much better, and you can make the shade a little bit brighter. Sometimes shadows will dim down your colors, but it needs to look the same, at least to someone who's watching for the first time. So I feel like this is a really, really simple color. Don't mess with it too much, and this are very, very similar in terms of elements. So we're just going to save our time, copy these, very, very simple stuff, paste them out here. We're going to bring this down, put this right here, and I feel like we increase the size a little bit for this time because we're taking a lot more space. So 84 was the size that we were using instead of 64 for a lot of the titles in the beginning. So we're just going to get 84 as our new font size. We're just going to bring this right here, make this bigger, and obviously this isn't medium anymore, this is regular along with all of our other descriptions, and this button is going to be much wider. So now we're going to go right here, change this to the shade of navy blue which we've been using, because you can't use too many wildcards. Like you use too many wildcards, it is at this point you'll officially go out of the width of what lies in our color palette, what lies in our experimentation palette, and what is downright bonkers crazy. So you do need to think about that a little bit. I'm going to make this bold, obviously very, very visible, and obviously increase the font size as well. Let's go 22, because 22 is a number that we've been working with. You know what, let's reduce this a little bit. Let's go 20. And now you can just shift this above, and now you're going to end up with something that looks like this. It looks pretty nice actually. You hold on, why is Figma working weirdly? Anyways, we're going to scale this image up. It looks quite nice as a whole, and we also need to change the text, so that might be why it is looking a little bit weird right now. Let's bring this right here, and we're going to change this text. So indulgence in sweetness. We're going to go right here. We're going to copy all of this, so you can just pause this video, type it out if you need to. I know the shade that you were sort of working with in the beginning was a little bit more on the pink side of things, but as long as your color is coming from right here, it should be fine. Like, it doesn't even matter. We're going to get all of this description text right here, copy it, and also paste it right here, and obviously the button is going to say shop now, because what else would it say? Like, there isn't too much you can say as a button. I feel like this should be the sad story of a button. You can't say too much. You just have to say shop now and hope everyone clicks you, if that makes sense. All right, and with that, we have this section ready. Just make sure to sort of press shift and select a bunch of these at the same time, group them together, put them right here, and with that, check it out. We have this really, really nice looking little section for us. So you can reduce the size a little bit, crop it out maybe, shift this above, obviously shift this above as well. And now we're going to build out our final section, the section you have all been waiting for, the section of the footers. Super duper fun. If you're liking what we're doing across this UI, make sure to click on the like button, because I am counting the likes. And make sure to subscribe, you guys. If you're new here, make sure to subscribe and click on the bell icon, because there is so much new stuff that I'm desperately trying to release in the upcoming days, and you don't want to miss it. So just make sure to click on the bell icon so you're notified as soon as we launch any new video. Let's now change this fill to obviously the same shade of blue that we've been using. We're going to get this out of our previous frame, otherwise it's going to be really, really hard to see, impossible to see, by the way. And now we're going to get this text. So the first thing we need to add here is the logo. The way you're going to get the logo is, don't just type the word logo, that is not enough by any means. You're going to go to the top, get Candy Haven and this logo, copy it, and we're going to paste it right here. So this is where we're going to put it. The next thing that we're going to do is about us, our story, follow us, and contact us. So these are links, very, very similar. I'm now trying to talk to you about reusable components, so you don't have to build out absolutely anything in the footer. We're going to go right here, get one of these link groups and bring them down to the bottom. Check it out. This UI actually looks incredible. Like, can we just take a moment here to type out that this UI looks incredible? Just type I in the chat if you think this UI looks incredible, and I'll take that as a vote. Come on, you guys. This UI honestly looks incredible, like genuinely incredible. I'm not even trying to talk great about myself here. Like, this is genuinely looking like an incredible UI. Type I in the chat, you guys. Come on. Let's now increase the size a little bit, obviously accommodating our new logo size. We're going to place this logo right here. We're going to change these links to have a little bit of a greater font size, so we can go up to 20, but I feel like 16 is a good stopping point. And about us, our story, follow us, and contact us are our 4 lines. So we're just going to duplicate one of these, because obviously about us, very, very simple stuff. Just type it out. Our story, I feel like everyone can type out, but if you can't, I'm going to show you a secret hack for that as well. So just type out follow us, and if for some reason you're typing in all caps, all small, something like this happens, go right here, change your sentence case to title case. Just select your text, change it to title case. Why are you not working title case? Change it to title case, and hopefully that should fix things for you. If it doesn't, if you've typed out in caps lock like a fool like me, just fix it. Don't be a whiner, fix it. Contact us is our last section, and I feel like this is the ultimate ever. And now we're going to build out this very, very pretty, very, very simple line. So just get the frame, get it close to our logo, and I feel like this is a very, very clean UI in and of itself. Like, you could actually put this in your portfolio and it would be so, so great. So you're just going to create this really, really simple looking line right here, and we're going to make sure this is perfectly aligned in the center. We're going to change the color to obviously a really, really light shade of orange. Where did it go? We're going to bring this up to the top. Where did it go? Wow, this is so crazy. I have no idea where our line went. Epic fail. Where is our vector? Let's increase the stroke. Hopefully it'll become a little bit more visible. Logo grid, weird news, by the way. Logo grid wasn't inside of our MacBook Air, so we had to make sure that happened. And then for some reason I feel like the vector got lost on me, so we have to build out a new line again. But not to worry, a line is a simple thing to build, and now it's actually visible, physically visible, which is great news. And now we're going to make it smaller, obviously, make it thinner, and you can change the edges to round, just for simplicity and clarity and prettiness sake. Now you have a line that sort of looks like this. You're going to align it perfectly in the center, and we're going to add privacy policy, terms of service, and cookie settings. Now, where have we done this before, class? We've looked at these link groups at the real top. Nothing needs to be changed this time, because the font size also needs to be smaller for this variation. You're going to go to the top, get this group, obviously you are, copy it, bring it back, just paste it right here, bring it back down. Very, very simple stuff. Reusing components is so important in UI design, because if you don't reuse components, you're going to waste a lot of time. These are one of the practical tips that you learn when you're actually in this live class every single day, 8 p.m. Indian Standard Time or 2:30 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time, whatever you're at. Just calculate from 2:30 p.m. GMT and you'll know what time you need to be here live every single day, because you learn so many different cool techniques that I don't get to necessarily talk about in a tutorial video, where all of these little details get missed. Make sure to subscribe, you guys. Come on. terms of service, and lastly, cookie settings. So we're going to select this cookie settings, because who doesn't like cookies? I know I do. Now we have to just create these last two sections, and I feel like this is going to be even simpler. So we're just going to get one of these. Check it out. This actually looks so nice. So we're just going to make sure everything is perfectly aligned. Alignment is such an important UI design principle. This can absolutely make or break your design. Apurba asks, can you suggest any channel where I can learn advanced features of Figma, such as design systems, variables, in an easy way? Are these features always necessary? I know this may sound like a silly question, but I'm new. No, these are not silly these are not important or the essential to becoming a great designer. Great designers are designers who know what they're making, who've built these things many times, and who have an idea of how to get things to look good. You don't need to have the greatest knowledge of the greatest, most advanced word. I recently I was watching something today, and a really smart guy just said, if you can't explain them, confuse them. So if you can't explain this is such a deep principle. If sometimes you'll find this happens so often, sometimes when people can't explain things to you, and this happens on YouTube as well, not on this channel because it's me, but on other channels sometimes and this happened to me too. I was also self-taught, and sometimes when it gets really hard to understand certain UI design concepts, you will find so many different people just explain to you these weird component, asset, design library, Figma library, feature, Figma frame, design system, god knows what, some bullshit with their own ideas. This is often a very good reminder, not in all cases but in some cases, that sometimes when people are making it unnecessarily complicated, they don't understand it either. So I have seen people talk of great many advanced prototyping, animation, this that words, and not know a thing about UI design and just be trying to confuse us. That happens on social media a lot. Be careful. But also you have a very genuine question in terms of advanced Figma features such as design systems and variables. I am bringing a workshop on this exact topic on this channel very soon. Make sure to subscribe, click on the bell icon. I do agree with the concept that exact design features and intensive variable libraries are not available on YouTube as they should be right now. So I feel like I get what you're asking, and I know what things need to be explained right now. I am working on bringing them to this channel really soon. And yes, I don't believe the things that we're talking about right here are easy to find on YouTube. So yes, it is difficult to find on YouTube. If there is something, either it's deprecated, old, or not complete. Figma has gone through a couple of UI changes, feature changes as well. So I am building a very newer 2025 version of these concepts on this channel, coming really soon, hopefully within this month. Make sure to subscribe, and we'll hopefully break things down. So I hope that answers your question. We're going to get this guy out of our previous section, and here's what you need to know. When you're building out these can be of a smaller size. If you increase copyright notice to a little bit bigger, just 1-2 pixels, that's also going to be a much easier drive from that point on. So I feel like copyright notice is a more important line in and of itself. So you can increase the font size by 1 or 2 pixels. Simple stuff. You're going to go right here, copy this copyright notice. Very simple stuff. You can just type it out yourself as well. Copy, and obviously write align things. Copyright 2025 Candy Haven, all rights reserved. Just very simple stuff. You can search for copyright ASCII character on Google, and it's going to give you the C character. Or you can press Windows full stop, and hopefully that will give you all of the different ASCII icons, emojis and stuff on your standard keyboard if you're on a Windows machine. And the last section we're building out is obviously our newsletter. So we're just going to get a simple text box right here, type out subscribe, and I feel like this is the section that's needing a lot of styling right now. Otherwise we're done. Subscribe, increase the font size to 20, because we do, you know what, let's get this down to 18, because we do need to get a little bit of attention, but not too much attention. And now we're going to build out this box, and we sort of doubled down on our scheme of surprising people everywhere. So we've just doubled down on that, which is why the color is a little bit bright and weird. So we're just going to create a very simple rectangle. Again, any questions related to UI UX design, leave them really, really quickly, because we're designing the final stretch of everything that needs to be designed for this UI for today. Let's increase this to 20. I'm always changing my mind back and forth with font sizes, but it turns out you can't really go wrong with that. So we'll change this up, maybe increase it to semi-bold just to highlight what we're talking about. And obviously the title for this is going to be enter your email address for suite updates. How on theme, how specific of us. We're going to copy this, paste it right here. Make sure this placeholder is above your rectangle. Sometimes it gets really, really hard to see what's written in white, especially if your background is yellow or light orange or any of these shades. You're going to go right here, add a drop shadow. Make sure to adjust the y-axis to be higher, to be at 2. And with that, check it out. You can actually read all of these. So if you didn't have the drop shadow, you'd have a much harder time reading it. This is great for contrast and legibility and readability. And now we're going to get subscribe button. So you know what, let's also add a border, just so we can highlight that this is where all our work needs to be done. So we're just going to change this to white, and then we're going to get ourselves a new button. So this button is also going to follow theme with this updates button. So we're just going to say subscribe, make it smaller. Make sure to change the color back to the background color, just so things look nice and dilute. You can even get rid of the fill if you need to. Absolutely the same thing, no difference whatsoever. We're going to get rid of the drop shadow because the contrast with navy blue and white is big enough and huge enough. Make sure it is set to auto width, just so everything aligns perfectly in the center. And you can press Alt key now and be able to see the amount of spacing between all of these different edges. And this actually looks quite nice. And with that, we're now building out this last text box. By subscribing, you agree to our privacy policy. So we're just going to copy and paste it. All of these are basically font size 12s, just very, very simple stuff. You can even go a couple of pixels below to 11 or 10, but I'm just going to go with 11. I'm just going to copy this text. If you haven't yet, type it out. By subscribing, comma, you agree to our privacy policy, full stop. Both privacy and policy are going to be capital. We're going to paste them here in match style. And the last step of the last step is just pressing shift, selecting all of these different elements. I know we didn't place them in a frame. That was probably a fault. Like we should just align them together, and that'll be good enough for this UI. Apurva, as a beginner, you should, in my experience, just come watch these streams every single day, 8 p.m. Indian Standard Time. And there are a bunch of streams, literally 50 streams, over 50 streams. I feel like we're very close to 100 streams present on this channel. You can find in the playlist section or in the live stream section of various builds we've done. They are very, very perfectly suited for beginners in UI design specifically. So they cover overall range of topics. You can browse through them, figure out what you would like to build, what looks good to you as a designer, and you can figure out your own sense of style from there. And when you're starting to get your hands dirty in real world project builds like these, this is why I believe in project based learning. When you get your hands dirty in real world projects like these, then it becomes really easy for you to be able to decide what you want to focus on, what you want to specialize on. Just saying that this is a landing page and I want to specialize in landing page might be a good strategy if you are 100% sure that landing pages is what you like to do. But I would definitely suggest going through the live stream section of this channel once and maybe giving app designs a try, maybe giving all of these different things that we've done a try. Maybe you'll when you figure out that you've liked landing pages so much, maybe you'll come across our productivity SaaS Zentasks build, which we did. It's the most popular live stream on this channel. Maybe you'll build out SaaS applications. We did a SaaS application on Christmas and on New Year, 2 different SaaSes, and hopefully you'll find out that you like them better. So SaaS as a whole provides a little bit more commercial value in that sense as well. You might want to explore these things, take a look at all of these different real world projects, and then try to figure out what you like, what you prefer building, maybe what you want to specialize in. And I feel like that's a really good point to figure out what things you should focus on. With that, we're going to press shift, select all of these at once, Control G to group them together, and make sure everything is perfectly spaced apart. If this subscribe isn't in the group, just go right here. If some things are outside, just select them both by pressing on shift, bringing them down here. Make sure everything is inside of our frame. So when you close this, when you close the visibility, nothing else should be visible. And now we're going to go ahead and, select this group, place it right here, make sure everything is perfectly aligned on the right side, and check this out, you guys. Are you ready? I'm going to close all other things now because they are way too distracting. We're going to go to the prototype section, and since this is a MacBook Air 1, we're going to make sure the prototype is also set to MacBook Air 1. You can change the background color if you want to, or this can be changed as well. These are all of the different models: Starlight, Midnight, Space Gray, and Silver. I feel like I'm just going to go with Midnight for this one. You know what, we could go with Space Gray. Let's just go with Midnight. And I'm going to share this now with every single one of you people watching. This is so incredible. So incredible. I'm just going to share it really quickly. This has been literally one of the most informative UIs we've done in such a long time. We've learned by ourselves how to build out this sleek, modern, 2025 job freelance position worthy UI design portfolio project completely from scratch. This is an entire one-page website / landing page or home page, and it covers all of these different elements: hero section, glass morphism, bento grids, image galleries, getting your right attention to the right element using the right color, using correct color balances. Check it out, colors have been balanced here so well. Getting these random colors from somewhere and having them make sense. Where do you get these colors from? How do you balance these UI delightfully? How do you get these footers to look so good? Like, this is the modern footer. This is the kind of footer that's going to work in 2025. If you copy this UI, like, this is literally going to be so great. Vishwaja asks, can you check mine? Vishwaja, could you clarify that? Could you send it in the Discord group, and I'll check all of your cool UI designs. Like, send it in the Discord group. It is linked in the live chat and description. So first live chat message ever. I'm going to copy this UI today. This looks like one of the prettiest things I've made in my entire life. The navigation bar is also heavenly, border radiuses and everything, and I'm just going to share it with you guys because I am so excited, you guys. And I'm just going to share this now. You can use this on your own as well. You can put this, you have my free blessings to put this in your own portfolio, share it with different people, have a lot of fun with it. All images used here and in every other UI are found in the Discord group, available completely for free inside of our Discord group. So you can just find all of these images there. It has been an incredible UI design stream. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next UI design stream at 8 p.m. Indian Standard Time or 2:30 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time tomorrow. Until then, keep smiling, keep designing, and goodbye.